Hey guys, David here and welcome to the FitPro Daily. It's another Monday, which means we have a brand new special guest for you. And today we have Andy Ciaravella from Stabilis Fitness. So the other week I posted in a few FitPro groups asking for recommendations or people to come on the podcast and share their experiences with how they're succeeding or getting on during lockdown. And we had quite a few interested people. So today we've got Andy coming on, and then over the next few weeks we've got some amazing special guests, including Naomi Carson, Paul Laslett, Gary Mendoza, and Jonathan Goodman. So over the next couple of weeks, don't forget to check back to find out and listen in to those interviews. Also, if you're brand new to the channel, you can click that big red subscribe button below to make sure you never do miss an episode. Today's interview is quite a unique one because Andy's literally gone from one career into the career he's now in, going from the military to an outdoor boot camp, and has now been able to build his own personal training studio. And it's actually lockdown which has forced his hand to be able to create such an amazing thing. In the interview, he also talks about mindset and goal settings, how he's not only gone from the military to have that dream of having his own personal training studio, but now he has a new dream which is 5 years away, which we'll go into more detail during the interview. Okay, so as you might notice during the interview, we do have a few technical issues. One point, my internet decided to go off, so there was a few issues there. And then as we were recording and chatting away, Andy's webcam also went off, so that caused a bit of an issue. Anyway, that's enough of me talking. Let's dive straight into this week's guest interview. Okay guys, welcome back. So today we have Andy, and Andy's got quite an interesting story that I think a lot of people can definitely relate to. Basically starting out with almost no client base, no nothing, coming from one industry and moving completely into a brand new industry. So welcome, Andy.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. So like I do with the start of every single episode we do, I just want to know how or why did you get started in this industry? So tell us a little bit more how you got started.
I retired from the army about 7 years ago. And prior to leaving, we sort of dabbled into some things that we wanted to do. And I actually wanted to be a teacher. But after spending a week in the classroom, I then made the decision not to be a teacher. Yeah. I put the two things that I enjoy most together: fitness, I've always done it my whole life, and obviously teaching. And I then went into the personal training side of things. The army funded the courses initially, so your 6-week course you do. I did that with Premier. And pretty much from there onwards, I then started to build the business. So initially I was going around door to door, throwing leaflets out and things like that. And I was running boot camps and outside coaching. And I think it took me about 4 months before it started to build up, but I never gave up. But then I realized I needed to get into a gym. So I then joined a big gym, the commercial ones, the gym group. And I was there for 7 years. Now in that 7 years, the business built up to online coaching, outside boot camps, and one-to-one coaching. And I pretty much had a full diary now for 7 years, which is pretty remarkable. Then pretty much I carried on studying, spent the last 7 years studying. So I'm doing lots of extra courses on the side. And that's not just PTing, that's marketing, advertising, Facebook ads, and so forth. So I've just kept myself up to date with everything. And I'd say the majority of my clients come from email marketing. So I sort of still do the personal training side, but I'm also going into the marketing side so I can obviously grow the business. So yeah, the last 7 years, online coaching, one-to-one coaching, and boot camps. And that's how I came into the industry.
Nice. So in the army then, when did you kind of decide that you wanted to step away from that and try and move into a different kind of career then?
Yeah.
At what point did you decide that now is time to kind of move?
Well, you don't get a choice really. When you're in the army, you do a certain amount of years. Now I'd come to the end of my career, so 22 years in the armed forces I've spent there. So they were pensioning me off. So at the age of 40, they gave me a big pension, which I still get, which is fabulous.
Yeah.
And then it was my second career. It was a second wind. Now, I know a lot of people leave the armed forces and go into different careers, but they become employed again by someone else. And that's something I didn't want to do. I wanted to control my own sort of destiny, my own future. Hence the reason I went into one-to-one coaching.
Okay, so think of the people who maybe are watching this, who are maybe in that position now, they're just about to leave the armed forces. Had you started doing research into what you wanted to do next, or had you started planning, or was it just literally you walk out the door, now let's decide?
No, you get sort of a settlement package. So the armed forces start, I'd say in your last year, start preparing you for civilian street. And that's where they approach you and say, what do you want to do? So I've done all the research into the personal training side of things beforehand anyway.
Yeah.
And I think about 7 months before I was due to leave, I started doing the courses. So what they do is sort of, they almost put you on leave, paid, but let you go away and start doing all the studying and so forth. So yeah, my career came to an end and I had to choose something. And this was the sort of industry I wanted to work in. I lost you there for a second.
Oh, it looks like we're back now. I'm not sure what happened there. I was saying about the outdoor boot camps. What made you decide to go straight into outdoor boot camps, and what was kind of your setup like for outdoor boot camps?
Because of my military background, military style training, boot camps are the first thing I thought of. I thought, right, let's get groups of people together and do that military style training. So lots of body weight. I have equipment as well, which we use. And that started building up, and that's what I enjoyed initially.
Yeah.
But then I noticed people were coming up to me and asking for specific training, one-to-one coaching. Fat loss was the biggest area. So what I then did is decided to become a fat loss coach. So that's where I work in.
Yeah.
I then moved into the gym. So boot camps was the initial thing to get me moving. And then obviously I went into the gym and started the one-to-one coaching side.
Okay, yeah. So what kind of really made you think to niche into the fat loss? I know people were asking, but I'm guessing you train with quite a few people at different kind of goals and aims. What was it that really wanted to push you into that niche then?
Health. So health is important to me massively. I've obviously come across a lot of people who are obese, got health issues, underlying health issues and so forth. So to me, it was helping these guys out to become healthier. And same with my own parents. My own parents got to a situation where they became unhealthy, underlying health conditions, and I actually helped them. And I've only just recently helped them. As soon as they went into lockdown 12 weeks ago, I put them on my online program, so they don't see me at all.
Yeah.
And between them, they've lost just under 4 stone in the last 12 weeks. So that's quite a lot. But their health markers have improved as well. So for me, it's not about appearance, it's about health. That's the important part.
And I think this is what a lot of people struggle with, especially when they get started, is they're not really sure on what niche they want to work with. So they can't just work with everybody and anybody. But like you say, once you're comfortable and you're excited about working with that particular type of person, that's really what we should all really aim for.
Oh, definitely. When I first came into the industry, I didn't, obviously, like everyone, you're training everyone. So people were coming to me to gain muscle. They wanted to bulk up, run marathons. So I did everything. I was training people for marathons and actually doing it with them. So my fingers were in every pie going. But to me, that wasn't what I wanted to do. So that's when I started specialising and found the niche that I enjoyed. And I target that now. And a majority of my clients, my demographics is females from the age of roughly 43 up to mid-60s.
Okay, yeah.
So I target these sort of numbers and people for fat loss.
And we just can't stress that enough. And we talk about this all the time. You have to pick that niche. Once you know that niche, like you say, all the marketing you do then will be directed towards that one person and pushing away everybody else that's not part of it. So your boot camp was going well. What then gave you that kick to maybe open this facility that you have now then?
What I'm in now, I've got my own facility. Now, when lockdown happened, I think it was about a week before, we all knew we were going to close down eventually. And everyone was panicking, going, oh, shit, what are we going to do? But straight away, I just spent an absolute fortune on gym kit before the gyms even closed. And I have a double garage at home, which was just sitting there like most garages, full of junk. So I got someone in on day 2, I think it was a lockdown, a builder, and he came here and he basically converted my double gym into a studio. I then got all the equipment, built it up. It's all sat here waiting, but I clearly can't train anyone in it yet. But the biggest thing here is that I sort of looked at what was going to happen, and I understood that gyms were not going to open the same way again, especially in the near future. And to me, that that was just a no-brainer to open up my own facility. Otherwise, I wasn't going to work at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And one thing I don't want to do, and don't get me wrong, we have to adapt, but I don't want to keep training clients outside for the rest of the year because that's not what they want. So me personally investing into this studio was the best thing ever. And it was the next step as well. It's something I wanted to do, and I needed that kick up the arse to do it. So
how do you know then, for the people that are watching this, how do you know when the right time to go from outdoor working from somebody else's place to actually finding your own place then?
I've been wanting to do this for a while. And I'd say about a year ago, I was getting a bit tired of commercial gyms. Don't get me wrong, great places. But when I was taking more and more clients on and we wanted to sit down and communicate, discuss their goals, their problems and so forth, I found the commercial gyms were just too busy.
Yeah.
Music loud, people shouting, you can't get on equipment. And my clients as well are quite high ticket. So they were coming to me, spending good money on my products. Yet the facility we're in wasn't up to scratch with my services, if you get what I mean. So I decided that studio's only way next forward, the next forward thing. And my plan now, even I'm thinking ahead, I'm going to keep this studio for the next 5 years. Then I'm shutting it down because my next thing I'm planning is to open up a health and wellness facility over in Italy. So that's my next goal, which is in 5 years. So I'm always jumping ahead of the gun.
Okay, so we were just saying about, you mentioned earlier about continuous learning, not just becoming a better personal trainer, but also on marketing your business. Why do you see this as a key thing to your growth and development?
Well, you know yourself, when you do the 6-week personal trainer course, it's very basic, very basic. And when I actually finished and they said, well done, you're a personal trainer, I didn't accept that. I didn't know enough to be able to start working with human beings, especially in their certain goals. So immediately I just started doing more and more courses. And as I said, 7 years, and I'm still studying today. I did the personal trainer course, went into the obesity courses, lower back pain, pre and postnatal. So I dabbled in everything. And once I'd done all those courses, I then found the niche I wanted to work on.
Yeah.
And carry on studying in that area as well. So yeah, self-development's important because when I first came in, to the industry, fat loss, it's like, shit, what do we do? And you start jumping onto fads like clients do, and that's something I didn't want to do. So I then went into further education to find those answers that I wanted to be able to help the clients. And it's worked well. It's worked really well. What I did with all that education and the knowledge, I then put into bite-sized booklets. So I've got over 20, 30 little booklets. Every one of my clients has a fitness app that they log into. And in there is all their programs, all their coaching tools, all the recipe books. It's got absolutely everything they require.
Yeah.
So when they go in and they join, it starts drip feeding in. So they're getting content 2 to 3 times a week, which they're able to read up on and obviously educate themselves. So yeah, it's important because I just see a lot of personal trainers in the gym, they're doing an hour and that's it. They don't communicate there afterwards. They're not giving any advice, not giving any knowledge. And that's what the clients are paying for at the end of the day.
Okay, yeah. So you mentioned about the app then. Is this a custom-made app or is it something like Trainerize or True Coach or something?
I'm on PT Distinction. Have you heard of that one?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was on Trainerize for about 4 years, then transitioned across to PT Distinction. And the reason I'm on that one, because I find it a lot easier to use, but I'm able to put a lot more content in there. And I can also, drip feed it into their calendars over the next 12 weeks, but it's already automated. So whenever clients come on, it just starts drip feeding in. So all the hard work and the groundwork's done. But yeah, it's amazing. And they can also contact you via this app. So messaging, emails and so forth.
It's all in one place.
It's the best way to communicate with the clients, really.
Yeah. And it was fantastic to hear what you're talking about. It's more than just a session. And this is what a lot of people really do struggle with. Maybe it's not that they just don't understand how you can charge more, provide more value and not even cost you. Like you say, you built all these programs once, they get drip fed, you've spent 2 or 3 hours creating them, but now you can charge more because you've made it as a package rather than just an individual session.
Exactly. It's a brilliant setup. At the initial start of it, I was set up till 2, 3 in the morning, putting it all together, because I'm one of them people, when I get on a project, I've got to get it done.
Yeah.
So I'd sit there and, it's up and running. And with the online coaching, which is obviously cheaper than one-to-one, I market that and people just click a link and join it and off they go. They're straight in on it. So that's work happening in the background. And I don't even need to communicate with these guys because they're doing that. It's a sort of self 12-week course that they do. So it's pretty good. But the one-to-ones get a lot more of me. And if they come on, let's say, for a 3-month program, they can contact me whenever they like. I've told them that, it's not just about the hour, it's about assisting throughout their next 12 weeks.
Yeah. So you saying you've been doing Facebook ads, you've been doing loads of social media, but your main thing is email marketing?
Yeah. Email marketing. Sorry?
Tell us a little bit more about how that's working for you then.
Yeah, so the way it all come about, with all my studying and so forth, there's a couple of names I'm going to mention now, and I don't know if you know them, but Phil Lerney, he runs the Advanced Coaching Academy course. I completed that with him, absolutely fantastic. I then started delving into other areas. So there's a guy called Paul Moore who does an email marketing course. And he also helped, I don't know if you know James Smith, he's all over the bloody internet, isn't he? Yeah. So Paul Moore helped James Smith with his email marketing. And that's how James has got so big in his industry, because he's just emailing every single day.
Yeah.
So I started doing that, started doing copy. But then I just realized that I needed to get Facebook ads out there. I'm currently on a course doing that now. But all I do is I have a booklet on Facebook, for instance, an ad, and they download it. Now, obviously, when they're downloading, they give me their email address, which then goes into my email list. And I email daily. I've got about 3,750 on the email list at the moment, and that grows roughly by 350 a week.
Okay.
With my Facebook advertising. And once they're on there, then you just email them every day. Because you know yourself, Facebook, it's okay, but the audience do not see your content all the time. Whereas if you email marketing, they're seeing it every day.
Yeah.
And at the bottom, there's always 1 or 2 or 3 pointers directing to my website, to my bootcamps, to my online coaching. So I'm basically selling every single day. And that's how I get clients on board, which is awesome.
So for the people who are not really sure about daily emailing, then where do you come up with all these ideas, and maybe what is it you actually talk about in these emails?
Well, it depends. So if I'm just, if I'm not doing a launch, it's like my online coaching, the next launch for that is in about 3 weeks. So I'm not going to keep bugging people now about that program because, it's 3 weeks away. So I email them just about daily stuff, like, the current COVID-19, I email them about that. Obviously, it's more important now to look after our health because of this. So you sort of email about that as well. Daily life, mental health, absolutely everything. So it's not always stemmed around fitness. It's just stemmed around daily life. I need my own personal life so people can see that I'm a real person. Now, what's going on there?
Change
Just going to change camera because obviously the camera's gone on that one. Bear with.
That's okay.
Yeah.
It's going to be a great episode, this one, yeah.
There you go. They can see me. Yeah, so there's a launch happening in about 2 weeks' time. And what I do then is build up to the next service, the next weight loss program. And I'll just basically put tips and pointers out there. And what they do is they start using them little bits that I'm giving them, but they want more. They need the motivation. They need to kick up the ass. So on second to last day, for instance, I'll then say, course opens up in 2 days, here's the link. And that's where people just join. So yeah, I'll email about everything and anything, about my holidays, about my daily life. Then when there's a launch happening, I start building up the launch and start selling it.
Okay. So the one thing most people are going to struggle with, and there's a massive key word here, it's called infotainment. How do you make your emails interesting then? So we talked about different type of topics and talking about daily life. Most people, it's a bit harsh to say, but their social media posts are boring. They talk about the same boring stuff all the time. How do you make your readers excited and want to read these emails on a daily basis?
It sort of flows like a story. So the title initially would sort of stand out. and the title will always have something in that's going to have the content in the email, but it's not towards the end. Then you sort of open up a story. So I'll be talking about something, and it sort of starts flowing through. Then you've got the big middle part, which is the main bulk of the story. And towards the end, it starts hitting towards what the title is about. That's how I work, is people actually go through, get to the end, and then obviously take it from there. And don't get me wrong, some days you're going to write emails that are not as productive as others, because obviously I see how many people open it and so on. So I learned from that. Email marketing is fairly new to me. I've been doing it for the last year, so I'm still learning on copyright and so forth. I'm still studying on that side of things, but it's working pretty well. You just got to remember, you can't just keep writing about fitness and fat loss, because everyone's life's not just about that. So I write about everything, as I mentioned there. And it just makes them feel normal and human, because obviously a lot of the clients are worried. They're overweight, they feel like they're not going in the right direction, when actually they are. I myself, are up and down with weight, and I'm always, constantly trying to improve. So I tell them that, I convey that to them.
Yeah, it's great to hear. So you've taken your whole journey as a FitPro seriously. You've understood your email, or you've understood your client in depth. So when you write your emails, they can relate to them. You're planning everything ahead. So you went from your boot camp, so you plan to move into then your own studio. And like you say, now you're planning to move to Italy. That's a massive progression there. So it's really great to hear how you've progressed. And I'm guessing the people watching or listening to this are going to get quite excited to see that you can literally go from one industry into a completely new industry, know nothing, and really succeed really well like you've done.
Oh, definitely. Of course you can. Yeah, as I keep saying to everyone, you've got to keep moving forward, because I remember, you go back 2 years ago, I got into that procrastination state where I was comfortable. And then the last year in the gym, I was still comfortable. I was like, I know what I want to do, but I'm not doing it. Hence the reason the COVID-19 was probably the best thing for my business. And I know it sounds awful because it's been horrific, but it made me do this. It made me move to the next step. And I've succeeded, which is pretty good.
Thanks for that. That's a perfect title for my email there. How COVID-19 boosted my business. Yeah, exactly. So before we dive into any questions, is there any final messages you want to say to people out there watching or listening to this? Or maybe where can people find out a little bit more about you?
First of all, just don't give up, because I see a lot of personal training, especially the gym I was at for 7 years. People come and go. And I've seen a rotation of PTs, God knows how many times. And there's only 2 or 3 of us there who have been there for 7 years, because obviously we keep moving forward. But just don't give up. And if you don't know the answers to the client's goals or anything, then learn it. Obviously, get more studying, invest in your business. We tell our clients to invest in themselves, so we need to invest in the business to be able to give that to the clients. And for more information on my business or anything like that, my website's stablisfitness.co.uk. I'll obviously send that to you later, and you can send that out. But it's got everything on there, from online coaching to the one-to-one to boot camps, the history of my business and so on.
So that was the interview with Andy, and it was actually a really good interview because I personally didn't know Andy too well before the interview. So learning and listening to his story about how he's managed to go from one industry to another and how he's using his mindset to really focus on moving from one to the other. He also went into detail and really explained why learning not just how to become a better trainer, but also your marketing, your messages, your emails, everything that really runs a business. He's really gone to town and learned. So definitely take that away from the interview this week. If you would like to be a special guest and come on to the interview or come on to the show, then let us know. Just put your name in the comments. Tell us a little bit more about how potentially your story can help FitPros that are listening in, and we can get you booked onto the show. Again, thanks for listening. Don't forget, if you've not subscribed before, click that big red button below to subscribe, and I'll speak to you all very soon. Cheers.